Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough, and welcome back to the Summer of Gaming. Today we're going to be in for a bit of a curveball. Today we're going to be looking at a game based on a cartoon from Cartoon Network. One I've previously reviewed, as a matter of fact. That being The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Last time we looked at this cartoon, it was when I reviewed Christmas-related media in October for a goof. With that, I maintained this show had a great Christmas special, and I fully admitted to liking the show in general in that review. It is clearly not for everyone, but I'm not denying I found its offbeat, dark, cynical, abrasive, and random humor incredibly funny. The main characters had a unique dynamic, the dialogue was usually packed with pretty heady humor mixed with dark humor and blunt stupidity, and the situations these two distinct kids and their undead Reaper friend would get into never got old to me. It is clearly not for everyone, but I stand firm in saying this was one of my favorite shows on Cartoon Network growing up. Hell, I'm glad to see the show's creator seems to be bouncing back with his new YouTube channel, his engagement with his audience, and even potential comeback movie for the franchise. I think all of that is very fantastic. Now, please don't ask me to ever do a review of Underfist or the Kids Next Door crossover. I don't know. I just don't see myself ever reviewing those. But as you'd expect, we're going to be looking at one of the many examples of merchandising this show got when it was at the height of its popularity. In this case, video games. Now, we've tangled with other Cartoon Network tie-in games before. We've looked at 2 Powerpuff Girls games, the Dexter's Lab PlayStation 1 game, Mandark's Lab, and infamously, the Ed, Edd n Eddy game, The Misadventures, which crapped out halfway through the 3rd level. Though considering how disturbing those characters looked in 3D, maybe it was for the best. Released in 2006 in the US on the PS2 and GameCube, as well as Game Boy Advance and later the Wii, Billy and Mandy got their own fighting game. And what do you know, the publishers are High Voltage Software, who we looked at last time with their Charlie and the Chocolate Factory game. But the developers need no introduction. The console version of this game was made by the now defunct Midway, a company that had its hand in many different games all the way from the 80s up to the 2000s, but ultimately met its fate with Chapter 11 level bankruptcy, eventually getting sold out to Warner Bros. Interactive. And while they have a very extensive list of licensed games, the one that I'll always remember them for is Ed, Edd n Eddy The Misadventures. Certainly hard to forget that game with faces like this staring back at you. Well then, between a game that crashed on me pretty early into its gameplay and a game that sucked so hard I didn't even bother getting that far into it, let's see what a Billy and Mandy themed fighter game has to offer. This is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy on GameCube. Right away, we're greeted with a select screen to pick different modes. There's a tutorial mode to help you get adjusted, a versus mode, a story mode, and a mission mode. Select your mode, and you'll get an endless sea of characters to pick from. Well, that's certainly one thing you gotta give this game. They did their homework when it came to the extensive cast to work with for their licensed fighting game. However, they do start you out with the 4 key characters of Billy, Mandy, Grim, and Irwin, and as for the rest, you'll have to unlock the rest of the cast in the mission mode. Okay, before we even start the plot of this game, let's just take a quick look to see how the characters look in 3D.
I don't understand mortals. Always punching and kicking each other.
The punching and kicking I get. I just don't understand the big glowing balls of supernatural energy.
Oh wow, they actually look a lot better than I expected. Well, color me surprised. I know I harp on this kind of thing a lot when I talk about games based on cartoons, but I'm sorry. After seeing Ed, Edd n Eddy or the Powerpuff Girls in 3D graphics, I've just become so conditioned for these to look unintentionally terrifying. Though, considering this series, it probably would have been appropriate to have unsettling character designs. Anyway, as for the plot, somebody has been going through Grimm's trunk again. He notices his trunk is missing these things called mojo balls, which gives people insane amounts of rage and strength. So that's the explanation for why you're fighting everybody. Now, no matter which of the 4 main characters you pick, the gameplay goes basically the same through 5 levels total. You got 2 players versus an NPC, 1 player versus 2 NPCs, 2 players versus 2 NPCs, and finally an out-and-out free-for-all in front of Billy's house for the final level.
3, 2, 1, fight!
Hey, that's pretty cool. The game's announcer is voiced by Weird Al. Good to see that they were able to get him back into the franchise after he did the voice of a talking squid.
Victory! Orange team wins!
Like you'd expect, the locations and the music are all carried over from the original show. As a fan, I greatly appreciate that. It's neat to see all of the locations they reused, and the music is just as catchy as it was in the original series. They even use instrumentals for beloved tracks like Brains by Voltaire. Now that is awesome. The first stage has you fighting Irwin. Once you successfully beat the snot out of him, you're supposed to fight Jack-O-Lantern from the Halloween special. Oh hell yeah, I love that special, so it's great to see this guy and all of his evil pumpkin minions again. To be honest, the story mode is welcome, but I'm the kind of person who likes fighting games as basic as they can get. If a game has an interesting story to go along with it, that's certainly a plus, but it's not always needed in a fighting game. And while the story in this game isn't that bad, it also feels like the kind of thing you could take or leave. They give you both a health bar and a mojo meter. If you charge up your mojo meter, you can take out all the enemies on screen at once. Charge it up twice, you get a special attack that finishes off your enemies. Once you get the NPC's life bar low enough, everything turns into a QuickTime event, and you have to follow a certain rhythm of 4 buttons to take them down. As for the controls in this game, the A button jumps, the L button gives you a dash ability, the B and Y buttons are for specialized attacks, and the X button allows you to pick up items. One thing I noticed is you can also do certain attacks while jumping. This is something I also really appreciated about this game. It gives you plenty of things to use against your enemies. That's the kind of thing that I personally look for in a fighting game. And apparently in the Wii version of this game, you can actually unlock Horror's Hand as a weapon. Aw man, that would have been cool. They should have had that on the GameCube version. Oh wait, I forgot. They try to make sure that each version of the game on different consoles has differences, so that way you end up buying each and every version of the game. After a boss fight with the giant chicken that was on top of the school bus in that one episode, the gang figure out that they have to go back to Billy's house for one more epic fight.
I think I'll take this opportunity to scare you to pieces.
It's button mashing time.
You'll never know what he'll do.
Oh, hell yeah. But that's not all. After them, you get a boss fight with the brain-sucking meteor from the Brains episode. And while the fan service here is certainly awesome, it's pretty short for a boss fight. They give you a good challenge, but he's pretty easy to take down for a boss fight. Well, I guess that's thematically appropriate. After all, this is the same brain-sucking parasite that managed to get defeated by a little girl. Granted, the little girl in question is supposed to be the most evilest thing to roam the Earth in the show's universe, but my point still stands. Oh, but as if you're curious as to who could have possibly gone through Grimm's trunk, it turns out it was Billy. Yeah, who could have seen that coming, right? Grimm says he put a chicken curse on his trunk, and it's revealed to be Billy because he was constantly laying eggs throughout the game. And thus the game ends with everyone getting ready to beat the hell out of Billy.
Wait, what'd I do, huh? I don't know about the rest of you, but I hope this thing's got a mode where we can just beat on Billy.
Wait a second, I thought this was the end of the game. There's actually more after that? Yeah, even when the credits of the game are rolling, you can still play while Mandy wails on Billy. All the while, the awesome Battle of the Bands song from that one episode plays in the background. Alright, that was a pretty awesome bonus. Now if we can take a sidebar to quickly look at the other modes this game has, the Versus mode is pretty self-explanatory. It's just a 4-player fighting mode of the game. You select characters, location, difficulty, and such, then fight with other players. Meanwhile, in the mission mode, you have 5 tiers and a total of 9 missions in each of them. I didn't get that far into this, but apparently you can unlock each of the characters and special outfits from this series. Personally, I'm not the kind of person that 100% stuff like this. They're certainly cute Easter eggs and callbacks to the original show, but I don't usually go out of my way to go through stuff like this in games. Interestingly, the game also comes with extras, which are thankfully listed on the main menu screen and are not stuff you have to 100% to unlock. You get character bios, concept art, and trailers for other Cartoon Network properties and games, like the Cartoon Network Fridays DVD and the Ed, Edd n Eddy game. Though apparently the PS2 game includes a making-of feature. So that was the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy on the GameCube, and this game was surprisingly good. Is it the best fighting game in the world? No, not really. But for a licensed game based on a Cartoon Network show, this was pretty solid. A lot of what made the show great is on full display here. The memorable cast of characters, the funny character interactions, the self-aware humor, the key locations, and even the music. On top of that, the controls are easy to get used to, the attacks are awesome, and the game never overstays its welcome. Some critics hated this game because it was too short, but I honestly enjoyed this one quite a lot. It gave you enough of the fun of the original series without going on too long or outstaying its welcome. Even if you're not familiar with the show, it's a pretty fun little fighting game in its own right. I honestly think this is one of the better CN-inspired games we've looked at. It was certainly a better fighting game than Chemical Extraction, and I'm glad this game didn't glitch out like Misadventures did, so that's a plus.
I would love this game because I'll get the opportunity to kill Billy and Mandy permanently.
Billy would love this game because he gets to smash people, but then he gets to pick them up, brush them off, and smash them again!
The Billy and Mandy game's okay, I guess, if you're into dumb stuff. I'm just kidding, I really like it. But don't tell anybody, because it makes me look weak.
You know your game did something right when even Mandy, the evilest little girl on the planet, had a few nice things to say. Well, that was a breath of fresh air. I think out of all the summer of gaming up until now, I've only liked 2 games, this being one of them, so I definitely say that was needed. As for what we'll be looking at next time, we'll be doing another game tying into a popular show, but nothing like the one that we just saw. Until next time, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough.
But what kind of sicko would make us fight just for their own amusement?